Hindi pinaboran ng Second Division ng Comelec ang petisyon para sa kanselasyon ng Certificate of Candidacy ni Presidential Aspirant Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. Pakinggan natin ang sinasagawang press conference ng Comelec.
Under the rules, petition for the cancellation of
Open your mic na lang po, sir.
All right. Okay. So the petition merits summary dismissal. According to the Second Division, the petition the petition filed by Bonafé et al. Actually contained grounds for disqualification. Now, under the rules, a petition for the cancellation of COC based on material misrepresentation can allege no other ground. But in this case, they alleged material misrepresentation as well as alleging grounds for disqualification, which under the rules would have merited summary dismissal. So the Second Division notes that this case could have been dismissed summarily on that ground alone. However, the division decided to forego that particular rule and decided to simply tackle the issues to settle the matter once and for all. Second, the respondent's material representation is not false. The division had opportunity to discuss what the term material representation means, and it defined the term material representation following Supreme Court jurisprudence as something that affects the eligibility of a candidate to run. In this case, the division returned to the decision of the Court of Appeals to determine whether or not a material misrepresentation was actually made. And the division noted the following. First, the CA decision on the tax case of Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Jr. did not contain any disqualification, right? So first, did not contain any disqualification. Second, the Second Division ruled that the National Internal Revenue Code of 1994 did not apply to the case because it would have that would have resulted in a retroactive application since the NIRC of 1994 took effect only 1986, whereas the cases involved in this case were 82, 83, and 84. So for this reason, when respondent Marcos Jr. Checked the item on the COC saying that he has no disqualifications, that it was not a misrepresentation. The division further found that there was no deliberate attempt to mislead. There was no deliberate attempt to mislead the commission, contrary to the allegations of the respondents. The division likewise noted that failure to file an income tax return is not a crime involving moral turpitude. All right. So those are the main points of the decision of the Second Division. We will make this available to you today. Okay. I do have the printed copy already, but I will make available to you the soft copy as well, so you'll be able to read it immediately. The hard copy, if anyone wants it, please just inform the Comelec, the EID staff at the press room. Okay. Moving on to other matters. We are now waiting on the final ballot phase. Please stay tuned. We might make that announcement later today. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's all I have for you today. Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Okay, no questions? Okay.
Sir, we have
Mikhail, go ahead.
Hi. Director James, what's the status of the cases pending with the First Division, the 3 consolidated ones?
we're still waiting on those decisions. So no word yet.
Are we expecting a decision to be announced today or not?
I really can't say. I'm waiting for word from Commissioner Guanzon.
Okay, sige sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have another from Miss Melissa.
Hi, sir. Actually, I just also wanted to follow up on the first division, but yeah, address. Sir, yung dun sa ballot phase. So if the ballot phase comes out today, not necessarily naman na printing also right after, no, sir?
Definitely. The ballot phases come out today. After that, we will announce the start of the schedule of printing, because we have to walk through NPO before we start printing. Okay, we have to.
So dapat kasabay siya, sir.
Mauna muna yung walkthrough, right? And then after that, ballot printing starts. When ballot printing starts, we will not be able to go inside the printing area. We will only be confined to the observation area. So we've insisted that we hold the walkthrough before we actually start ballot run. Okay.
Sir, tas ilang weeks yung expected period ng printing?
We'll have to find out first what the maximum running capacity of the machines are. We will find that out within the day of the start of printing.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you, sir.
So we will give you the timetables then. Okay. Tina.
Sir, we have Miss Tina po from GMA. Miss Tina, go ahead po.
Hi, sir. Good morning. Sir, itong
Morning.
decision... Good morning po. Sir, itong decision po ng division, is this unanimous? And how many days do the petitioners have to appeal?
Itong second division? Ito?
Yes, sir. Cancel COC.
This is unanimous in the result. There is a separate opinion from Commissioner Antonio Co. But in the result, it's unanimous. How many days to appeal? Normally 5 days to appeal.
All right. Sir, and then once the ruling of the en banc comes out, the decision is final as far as the Comelec is concerned, correct po?
That is correct.
All right. Thank you, sir. That's it for me.
All right.
So we have another from Miss Ina, Reformina of EBS. Miss
Go ahead.
Ina.
Yes, Director, some of the questions were already answered, sir. I just would like to clarify one point, Director. When you say po that the representations made were material but not false, what is the difference there for a layman po, Director, between materiality and falsity?
Oo. Ang issue kasi nung petitioner is that nagkaroon ng false misrepresentation, ano? Nagkaroon, ibig sabihin ng essentially na mislead yung commission into believing na eligible or karapat-dapat na makatakbo yung kandidato, in this case Marcos Jr. So yun yung nature ng sinasabing misrepresentation. Ang sinasabi dito, ang ginawa nitong decision second division is, number one, clarify kung anong ibig sabihin ng material representation. Diba? Kasi maraming laman yung COC eh. Yung COC maraming nilalaman yan. May age dyan, may pangalan, buong pangalan mo, etc. And isa dyan sa mga tanong dyan is question number 22 that says that I have not been convicted of a crime. Wait, let me read the actual words of that particular item. But basically, what happened was, so nilinaw kung ano ang tinatawag na material representation, and then, once masettle natin kung ano ang definition ng material representation, ang tanong na susunod is, mali ba yung sinabi ng kandidato? No? Ibig sabihin, nagsinungaling ba essentially yung kandidato nung sinabi niya na wala siyang disqualification? So yun yung material na misrepresentation na sinasabi, no? Material means importante kasi nagde-define siya kung whether or not ikaw ay eligible. And then misrepresentation, totoo ba o hindi yung sinabi mo? So yun. Okay?
Direct, I'm so sorry, sir. I'm so sorry, sir. I left the Zoom room. Nawala ako. And I
Okay.
just got back. I apologize, Director.
It's okay.
Just kahit briefly lang one line, Director. I really just got back in, sir. Sorry.
Okay. Oo. When we're talking about the material misrepresentation, ang tinutukoy natin, yung sinabi doon sa COC that he is eligible for the position of president and that he has not been meted the penalty of perpetual disqualification from public office. Basically, yun ang sinabi ng kandidato. Ngayon, yun yung sina-challenge ng petitioner. Sabi ng petitioner, hindi totoo yan kasi hindi ka eligible kasi disqualified ka. So yun yung representation na sinasabi at yun yung false representation na tinutukoy. But in this case, sabi ng division, walang naging false misrepresentation. Kasi, number one, hindi naman talaga disqualified. And number two, dahil hindi talaga disqualified, tama yung sinabi niya dun sa COC na hindi pa siya nadi-disqualified.
Therefore, Director, what the Second Division is essentially saying, mahalaga po na makita doon mismo sa ruling na in-uphold ng Court of Appeals, doon sa
That's right.
positive portion na talagang perpetual disqualified. It cannot be something that is assumed, but rather something that should be explicitly stated in the ruling, Director?
Absolutely, no? Hindi ka pwede mag-interpret, hindi ka pwede mag-speculate or mag-extrapolate ng penalty na hindi nag-i-exist. In this case, sabi nga ng division, sabi niya, wala naman tayong karapatan mag-review ng decision ng CA, syempre mas mataas na body yan, pero kailangan natin malaman kung ano exactly ang sinabi ng CA. Kasi yun ang magiging basehan kung talaga nga bang nagkaroon ng material misrepresentation. And ayon doon sa analysis ng sinulat sa dispositive portion ng Court of Appeals, walang nakalagay na disqualification doon. So, walang disqualification.
Director, just to clarify on the consolidated petitions before the First Division, sir, has there been a deliberation already? Is there a draft already? Or are we still dun sa proseso that the commissioners have yet to deliberate on it or are still deliberating? Therefore, there is no draft therefore, they will have to vote still on the consolidated petitions.
So, as far as I know, when we say it's been submitted for resolution, you're really just waiting for the final decision to be written. As far as I know, nagkaroon na yan ng consultation, nag-usap na yan sila, and we're just waiting for the decision to be written.
Sir, is it confirmed, Director, that one of the reasons for the delay is because one of the staff of the author, if I'm not mistaken, contracted COVID-19? And how will that affect now the promulgation of the ruling? What is the timeline that we're now looking at if indeed that is confirmed po, Director James?
I cannot speak to the impact of staff having COVID. At this point, all I really know is that there is nothing to promulgate. So I'm waiting for word from the First Division, particularly the presiding officer of the First Division.
Sir, you're on mute, I think,
Their
sir.
original. Wala. I'm okay. I'm not muted. But can you hear me now? Ina?
Yes, sir.
Ina? Can you hear me?
Yes po,
Ina,
sir.
nag-freeze ata. Anyway,
Nag-freeze po.
it's very good. Can we move on to the next question? Balikan natin si Ina later.
Yes, sir. Sir, for the next question is Ron. Ron, are you still in the Zoom room?
Hi, Director James. Good morning. So,
Morning.
sir, clarify ko lang po yung mga cases natin ngayon. So we have 7 pending cases against...
Naglabas na ako niyan ng isang araw
Hindi,
Naglabas na ako niyan ng isang araw, Ron.
meron kasi, sir, confusion dun sa kung na-decide na ba yung kay Tiburcio Marcos.
I don't have a copy of that decision yet. As far as I know, it has been settled, but again, I cannot validate that because there's no paper in front of me right now. So we'll have to keep on updating that to find out.
So officially, Director, how many cases have been disqualified?
So far that I have record of, I think this brings it to 2. Hindi ako nakakamali, yung kay Danilo Lihay-Lihay, Buena Fe. The others have been consolidated. One was withdrawn. Ilagan was withdrawn. So I think 2 pa lang ang may final decision.
And so how many cases are still
5
pending
left.
in 7
Looks like
divisions?
5. Looks like 5 left, except that 3, 194, 23, I think, and 24 have been consolidated into one case. So, ilan na lang yan? 4 na lang siguro natutira. We'll update the matrix. Ron. Don't worry.
Okay. So, dalawa po for second division, and we still have 2 consolidated petitions in the first division.
That's right.
Okay. Thank you, Director.
Thank you. Pwede natin balikan si...
Yes, sir.
Miss Ina.
Yes po. Miss Ina, go ahead.
Director, thank you very much for the indulgence. Sir, since you're being live streamed, sir, tanong ko lang po on behalf of the public listening in and watching right now, ano pong impact nitong ganito po na may nauna na ruling ang isang division, may pending pa tayong inaasahan sa ibang division, and considering na magkaiba din po ito ang causes of action, yung isa dito disqualification consolidated, yung isa dito cancellation, at meron pa rin iba na nakabinbin pa po, sir?
Well, alam mo, marami kasing kasong final di ba? Katulad nga nabanggit natin kanina, more than 5 cases have been filed. Definitely, isa-isang i-dispose yan, no? Medyo mahirap mag-speculate kung anong mangyayari dun sa ibang kaso on the basis of one decision. So, ang pinakamagandang gawin natin is hintayin natin lumabas bawat decision, and then we will discuss it as they come out.
And just to clarify, sir, if these cases do not attain finality before the start of printing of ballots, his name will still be included in the ballot, right, Director?
Yes, the name will still be on the ballot.
Thank you very much, Director James.
Thank you. Okay.
Sir James, we have questions inside our chat box. Sir, from Hannah Burde of GMA News Online.
Ang dami ko nakikitang nakataas na kamay. Tapos
Yes, sir. Naka-queue na po sila, sir. To put on record lang po, may we know the reason behind the postponement of the release of the decision po ng First Division. Then as another question, sir, from Sir Samuel Medenilla of Business Mirror. First question po ni Sir Sam. May issues na na-raise po ang Comelec sa NPO during the 2019 polls for allegedly outsourcing the...
Hold on. Other matters na yan. Let's stick with the cases muna. The first question, as to the promulgation of the decision of the First Division, wala pa akong official word na postponed. So we'll have to wait on that. No? Alamin natin kung bakit tayo nadidelay ng konti. All right? The second question was what? Wala
Sir,
mo na
other matters. Sir, we have Dwight, Rappler. Dwight, go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good morning. Sir,
Morning.
First, can we get, sir, an updated projected timeline, at least dito sa Buena Fe petition? When this reaches the end bank, how long would it take before they come out with a resolution po?
I'm sorry, what do you mean timeline for Buena Fe? Na-out na natin, di ba? What do you mean?
Sorry, sir, hindi ko po narinig. Sir, ano mo sagot niyo, sir?
Oo, sorry din, Dwight. Na-out na yung decision ng Buena Fe. What timeline are you asking about?
I mean, sir, about sa end bank level, sir, how long would it take for them to come out with, how long would it take for them to come out with the decision?
Well, that depends on whether or not an appeal is filed, number one. And number two, if an appeal is filed, I still cannot say kung gaano katagal aabutin ng NBank. No? Just like dito, hindi natin alam kung gaano katagal abutin ito when it was originally submitted for resolution. Sorry.
Okay, sir. And sir, balik lang po ako dun sa ballot phase. I'm not sure if this was answered, but is there a reason po why na-delay po yung pag-release ng ballot phase natin ulit?
We're other matters na rin to, but since nandito na tayo, we're actually waiting for it to be released today. Okay? Hindi naman tayo nagbigay ng time for the release of the ballot phases, but we are still waiting for it today. As far as I know, there are certain types of ballot phases that have already been cleared. Again, we're looking to make that announcement within the day as well.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dwight.
Sir, we have Mikhail of AFP. Mikhail, go ahead.
Sir James, I just wanted to clarify on the actual number of pending cases. Kasi you said, I think in January 4 or 5, that the Tiburcio Marcos case has been...
Yeah, I know, I said that.
Already.
But I don't have the paper for that yet, actually. I don't have the decision on the Tiburcio case. And I don't have an update on the Tiburcio case. So we'll have to correct and update the matrix that we gave you, which we gave you last time, no? Last week's briefing was followed by the matrix for the cases. So please refer to that.
Okay, so is it pending or resolved or what? Kasi we're keeping count of the pending case. So
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand what you're doing. We'll provide you a more recent update, no? The latest update. We'll have to clarify certain things about that as well.
Okay, sir. So it's officially from Comelec. There are 5 pending cases, tama po ba? Including the Tiburcio one.
Di ba, it's in the matrix na. That's official Comelec utterance. You can use that as a guide.
Okay, we just wanted to clarify kasi yung statement on the Tiburcio one is a bit confusing. So 5 pending cases. Tama, sir? 5?
Yes, it's in the matrix.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir, another question po from Greg of TV5. How does this second division ruling affects the pending cases in first division, considering that it has also ruled on some of the matters which grounds mentioned in the pending disqualification cases, such as the in question provision for perpetual disqualification following the tax conviction and the promulgation of the amended NIRC of 1986?
It has no impact, Greg. Each division will come to their own decision. So I cannot say that the decision of one division will impact how another division decides. So hiwalay na issue yan.
Okay. Sir, another question from Dwight from the inbox po. If Marcos is DQ'd at the NBank level after the printing of ballots but before the May 9 election, what will happen to the votes cast for him?
If a candidate is disqualified before the elections, but after the ballots have been printed, obviously the name remains on the ballot, and any vote garnered by that name on the ballot will be considered stray.
Thank you, sir. So far, sir, nobody's raising their hands for questions. No questions sa inbox, no question from Viber, sir.
Okay, sige. We'll update the matrix on Marcos cases within the day. And if there's any need to announce the any other announcements, right, including promulgations, if those are still online, if we're able to release the official ballot phases, all of these will be announced today. All right? Thank you very much.
Sorry, sir, pwedeng humabol.
Sorry. Sige, go.
Sir, Karen, Sir Reuters.
Oh, go, Karen.
Sir, hope you feel better, Sir James. Sir, just a quick question on the DQ. Kasi nalito lang ako. Di ba kung ma-DQ siya with final judgment, may alam pa ba, sir, yung substitution, yung nababanggit sa law? Yung pwede ka magpalit by, basta kapareho mo ng kapangalan, yung papalit sa'yo. So when is that allowed, sir?
Right.
In this case, Kasi pag COC, bawal mag-substitution. But if ma-DQ siya halimbawa, and then ma-final the judgment will be finalized, that means Supreme Court, ano? So substitution is allowed. Yun, sir. Can you just explain how does that work? Thank you.
If a candidate is disqualified with finality, then that amounts to an involuntary withdrawal. If the candidate is filing under a political party, then the right of substitution applies, which means that the candidate who was disqualified and therefore involuntarily withdrawn will be able to be substituted by a person with the same surname. Okay? The substitution can be made up to midday of election day. At that point, a COC can be filed with the Board of Election Inspectors to show that the substitution has been made. Right?
So that applies to this case, right, sir? Halimbawa lang kung magkaroon yung course ng case, that applies to this particular case.
It will apply to this case,
Okay.
supposing things fall out that way. Yes.
All right. Salamat.
At yan po, tunghayan nyo ang kasalukuyang nagaganap na press conference sa Comelec na kung saan nga po ay hindi pinaboran ng Second Division ng Comelec ang kanselasyon ng kandidatura ni Presidential Advisor Bongbong Marcos Jr. At ang iba pa pong mga balita, i-update po namin kayo maya-maya lamang.